Of conflict of interest.
See none?
See none. We have on the agenda 4A, the PACE program. Do you have a couple of other items there, Mr. Kelly?
Your Worship, the one that we have for the special meeting closed session, temporary use variance, planning has advised that is a must be done in the open forum, not in the closed forum, Your Worship. So if the council would agree to add that to the open forum.
So that's 5A, correct?
The one,
Onto the closed session?
yes, we want that to take it and put it into the open forum, Your Worship.
Yeah, so that has to go under temporary use variances 1, 2, I thought there were 3 of them.
But it's 3 under that category,
Okay.
Your Worship.
So that has to go under
Under the
open session. So I need someone to move to put that under the open session. Councillor Rivard, second by Councillor McCabe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good. Okay, so that goes under as B, right?
There's a couple other things.
No, I know, but just for following the alphabetical order. Temporary use variance is B, correct?
Yes, Your Worship.
So that's T-U-V. Okay, the other,
There's, there is a request for just to update council on the parkades and downtown parking for junior worship, just a quick reminder from finance.
yeah, and that was discussed by finance,
Yes, worship,
and it did get the green light to go ahead.
and it's here for council's information, worship.
Okay, so I need someone to move that. Moved by Councillor McLeod, second by Councillor Rivard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so that goes as C. That's parkades, and what do you call it, sir?
Downtown parking for junior worship.
Okay,
The other 2, your worship, there is from police. There are the 2 expanded patios.
Right.
That are here for council's consideration,
right,
and there's also an unsightly premises, your worship.
on site. And those 2 patios, do they fit within the 24 spaces or 25?
From what I understand, your worship, yes.
Yes. Moved by Councillor Yankoff. Okay, second by Councillor Ramsey. All those in favor? Okay.
Yes, aye.
D.
And
So,
the last one I have to, or that I have here, your worship, is Sydney Street. We've had a request, as you know, to deal with that street. And if council would like to put on the agenda for their discussion, is here for that option, your worship.
Councillor Yankoff, do you want to say anything to that, please?
Well, I might have not had all the information. I definitely want to have it on the agenda for discussion, but I was under the impression that police and fire had already brought back a report for that. I'm happy to still keep it on the agenda because I know that summer's coming and we need to make some of these decisions, but I guess that's up to the rest of council if they want it on as an agenda or if they think it's premature, but I'm happy to keep it on there myself.
Councillor Rivard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I asked the question at Police and Protective Services this week in our committee meeting, and Fire and Police, they expressed that they do have concerns with regards to the closure. Sydney, I had asked them to provide us with a written report as to what their concerns are. We have not received them to date, so until I receive them, I'm certainly not in a position right now to add it to the agenda and deal with it until I get those that information, because there are life safety concerns and national fire code issues from my understanding. So like I said, without knowing that information, I'm not comfortable casting a vote on that.
And Councillor Yankoff, I think you wanted to expand on the fact that there's a crying call for more physical spacing in this.
Yeah, I was about to just ask Councilor Rivard, did they give you any indication?
We have a discussion on this.
No, it's just, do you want it on the agenda? And she was just adding, one point is about the physical distance. Was that the reason for it?
Yeah, but I was gonna
Yeah,
ask,
but that's part of the discussion.
Yeah.
just whatever.
We have to ask the question, your worship.
Okay, so we have to move and second. Who's gonna move to put it on the agenda?
Well, I'll move to put it on the agenda.
Move to put on the agenda, seconded by Councillor McCabe.
Sure.
Correct?
It's good for discussion.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor? Councillor McLeod.
In favor.
Councillor Twill.
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff.
In favor.
Councillor Rivard.
For discussion, to add it to the agenda for discussion?
Discussion.
That's the motion.
That's the motion. Yea or nay?
Are we voting? Are we gonna vote on it tonight then?
Discussion.
Just for discussion, I'm okay.
Yeah, Councilor McKay,
In favor.
Councilor Ramsey,
In favor, Your Worship.
Councilor,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor. I'm missing Cody here. No, who's, oh, is Councilor Duffy there too?
Yes, Your Worship.
Okay, Councilor Duffy.
No, we don't have the information. We don't have the police or fire. I don't think, do we, Councilor Burt?
We don't yet, Councillor Duffy, but my understanding is this is just for discussion tonight, that we're not voting on it according to your worship, so.
We'll have
if
the
this-
resolution.
If this is what's that?
It's because it's in the resolution for discussion.
So if it's just a discussion with no vote, then I'm okay, but again, I'm not comfortable voting on this at all tonight. But
Good.
I'm okay to discuss it.
Yeah.
Are we just the discussion purposes only? Is that the motion?
That's correct.
I'm sorry?
Yes. Yes.
There's no vote tonight. I need more information from fire and police.
Yep. Discussion, yes or no?
Discussion only, yes.
Yes. Councilor Bernard.
I'm not sure what you're going to discuss. You don't have the information from fire and police? Sure.
Councilor Drawn.
No, if we don't have the information, then I don't think we can discuss it properly.
Okay.
I'm not sure, yeah, I'm not sure what.
So it doesn't go on the agenda. It has to be unanimous. Okay. Just cross that off. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
Councillor Twill has an issue, Your Worship.
Regarding what?
I'd like to put on the agenda, with council's permission, a resolution that would look at some preliminary work, both a combination of in-house and contract services to explore the opportunity to extend the grass medium in Victoria Park to Brighton Road and the other two areas where it's unsafe. This is just very preliminary work, discussed at Parks and Recreation, discussed at Public Works. So now my aim now is to bring it to council.
Do we have a recommendation, Councilor Duffy, from Public Works to advance this issue?
I don't think we have a written one, but I think we discussed it yesterday or Tuesday, I should say, at our meeting, and our manager, Mr. Adams, was in agreement that we would cooperate with Parks and Recreation.
Yeah,
And did it go, who seconded the resolution?
I got Councilor Bernard seconding it.
And you're in favor of Councilor Bernard?
My understanding is that the chair of Parks and Rec wanted to explore the option of putting a boulevard down, separating where you provide a pool that cars from the walkers and the cyclists. They wanted to explore that, and so just going to go to
Tender?
consultant or design or surveying just to see what kind of room we have there. That was it. Just
That's right.
like that was.
That's exactly right.
I think they also involved the area up around the tennis court road.
That's correct, Councilor Duffy. It's to explore bringing the grass mediums closer, because as you drive through the park now, you're practically in no man's land. It's not defined. The motors take their liberty in terms of entering and exiting that roadway from many different intervals. So we want to explore again to kind of tighten that up and make it safer.
So, Mr. Kelly, will this go to finance,
No.
or this goes right to tender?
It depends on the approach. If it is a combination of in-house and outside consultation, it could be done depending upon the pressure without tender.
Oh, okay.
But if it's done mostly in-house, then it would be obviously cheaper.
Councilor McLeod, who's moving to put it on the floor? Councilor Twill, seconded by who?
I'll second.
Okay, Councilor Yankoff. Councilor McLeod, yea or nay?
In favor.
Councilor Twill,
In favor?
Councilor Yankoff,
In favor.
Councilor Rivera,
In favor.
Councilor Ramsey,
In favor?
McKay?
Can I just ask one question? before I go?
Yes.
Sorry, is there money associated with this right now, or no?
There will be, if it's done in-house and outside consultation, there will be funds. We just don't have what that would be. The other motion was it's a $20,000 outside expenditure, so we're trying to do it in-house mostly before we go outside. But there will be a cost. I don't have that cost for you at this time.
But it's,
The cost would be, it's not new money. We're talking about doing it within the Parks and Rec existing budget.
that's right.
Okay, in favor.
Okay,
That's correct.
Sorry.
Councilor Duffy,
Yes.
Councilor Duran,
Yes. Just
Councilor-
I said,
Go ahead.
Is there not the process to follow to have a resolution come up instead of 5 minutes before the meeting?
That's usually the practice.
Information.
Yeah.
If we would have had some information in the last 24 hours, there'd be no question. Like, I agree with what Councilor Creel's doing, and we talked about it at Parks and Recreation. But to come into a meeting and just be given some information that we have to make a decision on without any background information is a little troubling.
So are you in favor of putting on the agenda or leave it to another? What's your vote?
Well, I agree with it, but I just do not like this when we constantly are doing this. I thought there was a process to follow,
There is. Okay.
but I'll agree with it.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
In favor.
Okay. So that's added to the agenda there, Mr. Kelly? Correct?
Thank you, council.
Okay, so the PACE program, do we start there? Correct? And I think that goes through, Councillor McLeod, do you want to defer it to? Thank you.
If I stand, does it still pick me up? No, just so just say seated?
If you stay there, it goes both to the phone and also on the.
Okay, perfect.
as well.
So I have, Your Worship, I did include
Speak
our,
up for in here, you should speak up,
Sure.
it's already there here.
okay. Your Worship, I did include in the package a report on the PACE program. So we've been working on this for the last couple of years and even longer as a research initiative. So PACE financing essentially provides low-interest financing through the municipality to homeowners and business owners in the community that want to invest in energy efficiency upgrades. So if there's a major project that you wanted to do on your home, say if you wanted to replace all your windows and your insulation and also put insulation in, that might have a major impact on your electricity bills and your heating bills, but you may not have the upfront funds necessary in order to make that investment in your home. So this program is intended to reduce some of those financial barriers to making larger scale energy efficiency renovations on your home. So we've joined up with PACE Atlantic Consortium, which includes 3 Nova Scotia municipalities and 2 PEI municipalities, ourselves and Stratford PEI. We would like to move ahead with an application to FCM to access funding through their PACE funding initiative. So we'd be looking to access $5 million in financing for the loans that would be offered to people, as well as a grant for the administration and promotion of the program. So essentially tonight, we've done a lot of preliminary research. We've done a legal review. The model that we'd be looking at in Nova Scotia, they get these payments back from homeowners through property tax bills, but because we don't collect the property tax ourselves as municipalities on PEI, it would be going through the water and sewer bills in Stratford and in Charlottetown. And one added benefit I will say to this funding initiative is that you can use up to 30% of the financing towards non-energy related projects. So if we had other things that we wanted to pursue, like water and sewer, for instance, is interested in offering a lead water line replacement funding program through this. If we wanted to do a flood resiliency or a climate adaptation program for homeowners, we could do that through this financing also. So at this step, we're just looking for council's support to move ahead with the application to FCM, and then also we would start the work on forming a bylaw that would allow us to set up the interest and financing payments.
Do I have a question?
Who has a question?
Ramona?
Yes, Councilor
Councilor
Bernard.
Bernard.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Ramona, was there any did you look into the possibility of homeowners that want to do any of these energy savings to their homes coming up with the same acts that we have, where you pay back the loan through the savings? That's a copy estimate that you should get.
Yeah, so you're,
To what we signed on with for the city energy savings.
Honeywell.
So, Your Worship, essentially, yes, it is that type of program. So the payment wouldn't necessarily be directly related to the savings, but you would see, so you say you see a drop in your electricity bill as a result of these energy efficiency upgrades, yet you see an increase in that payment that you're making for the upgrade. So depending on the different financing models, it may look to have that financed over a longer or a shorter term, but it would be no longer than the useful life of that upgrade. So it is very similar to the Honeywell project that we'll talk about, whereas homeowners are recouping those savings from the energy efficiency and are able to apply that to their bills for the upgrade.
So that's what we have with the city, right? We only pay for what the savings are until the infrastructure is paid off.
Yes, exactly.
So, but it sounds like that's close to the homeowner, but not quite.
I mean, as far as the details of how we'd work it out, what the payment would be, I don't know for sure if it would be the exact same amount that we would see in their savings, but it's intended to be about equal to those savings that they would receive.
If I may just,
Right.
Councilor
It'll
Bowers.
make it a lot easier for some to afford it, because they're just gonna pay back from the savings they get anyway.
Just to add, Councillor Bernard, this is going to offer a much lower interest rate than what you would go to the bank. And it's also done on an individual basis, because it all depends on the assessed value of your home as well. So, you know, somebody else might be able to get a lot more work done because of the value of the home and that type of thing. But at the end of the day, this is for anyone that wants to get into solar or wind or even you know, into heating their water different ways, to replacing lead pipe, which is a big, you know, in Halifax, this program really, they took advantage of that. As the city did their water work, anyone that had lead piping from the house out would be able to use this program to replace that pipe. So that was a big deal in Halifax, and so it is similar to the end to our, but not completely. Ours is more based on the savings from it, where this is kind of it's a loan, right? But it's at a much lower rate than what you'd ever get at a bank.
So it's a loan at a lower rate, so it's not necessarily that, you know what, my electricity bill is usually $200
It would be
a month. For solar panels, my electricity now is $100 a month, so I pay the other $100 towards paying for the infrastructure. It's not set up like that. like ours.
No, it's not. But each case would be based individually, like, you know what I mean? Just what you pay for something wouldn't necessarily be the same as what I would pay because of the assessment value of your.
Oh, no, I realize that.
Yeah.
I realize that.
Yeah, but it's a pretty cheap way of getting work done on your home.
Yeah. So Ramona, just to clarify, it's the Honeywell Energy Performance Contract is based on what we say they capture, that's how they get paid? The pace is not the same setup, is it?
Well, it's intended to be very similar in that you are reducing one payment and you're increasing your costs for the loan. But it's not directly related to, we don't give a guaranteed savings to the homeowner and say 100% you're going to save $50 a month and then set their bill for the interest payment at $50 a month.
Right.
But we work with Efficiency PEI in this program, so we will do modeling beforehand so the homeowner is aware about what their approximate savings are going to be, and then they will be informed about what their bill would be, and then they can make that decision whether that is close enough for them.
Yeah, and it's all about sustainability. That's right. That's Councilor Ramsey.
Thank you, Ramona, for that. So, my son is just purchasing a house anyway. He's got to get some work done to it and everything like that. And this is sort of hits the right time. So does he go get the loan first and then pay it back, or what's the story?
So, sorry, I have my back to you,
No,
but
it's okay.
so how it will work is that we will work with the Pace Atlantic Consortium and Efficiency PEI, so they will make one application to a Pace Atlantic program to get the financing, and then back of house we will look into the rebates for them. Okay. So we're trying to simplify the process as much for homeowners as possible, so that they're submitting one application. For those people, some people don't want financing, they just want to make the investment themselves, but anybody that wants financing, it will be a one-stop shop for the rebate and the financing.
Okay. You'll have more info on all that I can get for you in the future?
Yes, absolutely. So our next step would be developing the bylaw and the terms of the program.
Deputy Mayor Cody.
If this loan is not repaid, is this city money or is this FCM money that is not gonna get repaid?
At this point, it's all FCM money that we would
Okay.
be looking for.
And is there a portion of this money that's gonna be set aside for administrative tasks? If this is coming through the Water and Sewer Committee, they're obviously gonna have to, there's gonna be some posting entries, there's gotta be some admin work to administer the program. Is there anything to offset? Like, is there any cost to the city, or is it coming out of this fund?
There will be some in-kind contribution from the city, absolutely, in terms of developing and promoting the program. But the administration of the program, assessing the home value, setting up the payments, that side of things will all be handled by Pace Atlantic. There's also a grant component to the application that we're making to this fund. So some of that money will go to the city to offset some of the promotion and administrative costs we have, and the rest will go to Pace Atlantic for their work in developing and delivering the program.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Councillor Twill?
Just want to say I think it's a great initiative. It gives people some options. I think FCM, once again, it just goes to show you how proactive, how progressive the FCM is, and that's municipal councilors and staff from across this country working on these opportunities to give people that choice. So I think it's terrific, and I expect more good initiatives to come from SCM as we move forward, and why not give those opportunities to our residents and let them make that choice, that decision. So I think it's great work.
So do you want to read the resolution there, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, Your Worship.
Yeah, let's read the resolution.
Moved by Councillor McLeod, second by Councillor Bernard, whereas the City of Charlottetown has adopted the 2018 Community Energy Plan in order to reduce energy use and greenhouse gas emissions in its operations and within the Charlottetown community. And whereas the financial barriers exist for homeowners and business owners in the upfront cost of implementing energy efficiency and renewable energy projects in their homes and facilities, and property assessed clean energy programs have proven successful in other jurisdictions. And whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities has established a funding program, the Community Efficiency Financing Initiative, to support municipalities in providing low interest finance through PACE programs. Therefore, be resolved that the City of Charlottetown move forward with the Pace Atlantic Community Investment Corporation and partnership with municipalities to submit an application to FCM's Community Efficiency Finance Initiative funds. Your Worship.
Okay, so moved by Councillor McLeod, second by Councillor Bernard. Question?
Questions called?
Questions called. Councillor McLeod?
In favor.
Councillor Twill?
In favor.
Councillor Yanka?
In favor.
Councillor Rivard?
In favor?
Councillor Duran?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Cody?
In favor.
Councillor Bernard?
In favor?
Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Councillor Duffy?
In favor?
Councillor Ramsey?
In favor?
0. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Right here. There you are. Thank you. Next item is temporary use variance. That's Councillor Rivard.
Absolutely. No, I'll make a note of that.
Planning. You want to introduce there, Councillor Rivard? No?
We'll let Mr. Kelly read the resolutions, and if there's any questions or I can offer some clarity, then I certainly will.
Chilly here.
Let's read the resolution. We're going to read the resolution. That's what Councillor Rivard wants, right, Councillor?
That's normally how we,
Yeah, let's go. We're going to do that. We're going to go normally, and these
Yeah.
on normal times.
good, I like normal.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just normal.
You have it there, sir?
First motion, Your Worship, moved by Councillor Rivard, second by Deputy Mayor Cody, that the request for a temporary use variance as pertains to 5 Great George Street, water lot, PID 335307, in order to allow for multiple eating establishments, recreational equipment rental, same as business operations as last year, and to locate 4 float homes to be used for short-term rental purposes, be approved until October 31st, 2020, subject to the conditions attached.
would you like to speak to there, Councillor Rivera?
Sure, Your Worship, thank you.
great.
Just to offer some clarification for council. So again, there's going to be 3 variances read tonight. So this variance is supported by planning board and staff, and what it is pretty much what is status quo from last year in front of Peaks Quay. So it is the floating dock with the eating establishments on it. It's with the kayak rentals, whatever business down there, plus the floating cottages inside of that PID. So this variance is just pretty much status quo what was there last year, which was requested by the applicant. So again, planning board was in favor and planning staff were in favor at this point.
Councillor Twill, question for the chair?
That's who you ask the questions to, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
To the chair?
Yeah, normal times.
Okay, great. Thanks, thank you for quick synopsis, Councillor Rivera. I think, from my observations last year, I think it's been a great success story. I know that there's a lot of enthusiasm. People really enjoy that new feature that was presented to them last year. People enjoyed going down to the floating dock to have a burger or a slice of pizza or a nail or whatever they choose. And I think it adds another dimension to the city of Charlottetown. The question I have is, and I'm certainly voting in favor, was I given to understand that the applicant was going to be requiring more variances so they could add more businesses, give more opportunities to entrepreneurs so that they could take advantage of, it's a beautiful setting down there on the waterfront, and people want to be practically on the water, close to the water. So am I to understand that you're going to be coming back later, council's consideration variances to add more businesses, or is it just completely and totally status quo for this year?
Thank you, Councillor Tweel. The request was status quo, and this is a little bit complicated because, again, when we sought out a legal opinion from our solicitor as to, should we be regulating the land use for these PIDs down the waterfront, the answer that was given to us is yes. So again, at our last or 2 planning board meetings ago, which would have been about a month ago, there was a regulatory framework put in place very quickly by one of our planners. Planning board at that time felt it was quick and that it left a lot of questions unanswered. So we agreed as a board and staff were in support to again identify the land use or offer a variance to allow them to operate this year, and giving the planning staff, board, the public, the next 6 months, if you will, to start looking at a regulatory framework to be put in place and figure out what levels of government should be regulating what, and so that's where we are. So right now, the variances that we have before us is pretty much status quo, except for the next one that's going to be read, which is to relocate the floating cottages to a different PID number, which planning staff and the planning board were not in support of. And the third one is to go status quo on a different site over by where the old steamers is. So for this summer, that is the ask. But there are, we did see renderings of future plans that they want to do, but we'll visit that at a later date when we have a regulatory framework in place. I hope that
Alex,
answers the question.
Do you have anything to add to it?
I don't think so, Your Worship.
It's good. Second question, Councillor.
Didn't trust me, Your Worship?
Normal times. Councillor Twill.
Well, I just want to reinforce what I said earlier, and I appreciate the procedures and the prerequisites from a legal and process. I understand all that, but I just want everyone to know that there was a lot of enthusiasm last year with the businesses were down there. There's a great vibe, and people were enjoying it. I down just recently, and they're down there. They're working hard. They're getting ready for the summer operation, and I'm a big supporter. I just want that known. I'm a big supporter. I think it's great, and there's a lot of young people that are involved with businesses, and that's what we want. We want young entrepreneurs that are willing to roll up their sleeves and go to work and bring a new feature and a new dimension to the city of Charlottetown, and I think we should be behind them 100%.
Okay. So, Your Worship, just Councillor Twill, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. I think Council will probably share the similar thoughts. But again, there's a process that we have to follow now, because, like I said, it was identified that these lots are to be regulated in some capacity from the city. So again, we're going to go down that path. No one is saying that we're not in support of future expansion. We're not, but we have no idea what it looks like right now. We have no idea, like I said, what levels of government should be involved in what aspects. So we're going to figure all that out. We'll bring it back to council, and then we'll vote on that at the time.
Councillor Yankoff.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering, we're here tonight, would you be able to just, what would have happened, Councillor Rivard, if we had left it status quo and did nothing with resolutions for this evening? Would you just clarify for the rest of council, why it was so important for us to have to take the route of the temporary variances in terms of our city's liability?
Well, again, it comes down to getting advice from our solicitor. I mean, it was brought to our attention, planning department then sought out a legal opinion. Once we got that legal opinion to say, yes, the city should be regulating this in some capacity, we were in a position where we couldn't just put our heads in the sand and ignore. So we had to do something. We also recognize that these businesses are vital to the waterfront. They're, like I said, Councillor Twill said that people get excited about going down to the facilities, and I don't disagree. So it was trying to steer the ship, if you will, if you want to talk about water, and figure out a way that we can get these businesses up and going as quickly as possible for this summer, and then allow staff to continue to work on the regulatory framework for the future. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Go, second question, go right ahead there,
Second question,
Councillor Yankoff.
So with everything, all the activity had been going on for a number of years on the waterfront, and so this just has come now based on this legal opinion. What would have happened if we had, again, just left things as is until after this year, given that it had been like this all along? I think I know the answer, but I just wanted to make sure I get that clear, that is this all stems from because once the legal opinion comes in, we need to deal with that, is that?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you very much.
Okay, good. So, question?
I have a question, Your Worship.
Right ahead there, Councillor. Merritt.
I'm just curious, so seeing that this never went through council in the past, just kind of when I believe it's 4 cottages that are on the water now. So I'm kind of curious, as far as that whole docking area, was there any complaints, is there any concerns, people with the amount of cottages that are going in on the water, floating cottages? Or has it been received very well? Or do we know?
Councillor Bernard, we haven't received that I know of any complaints about the cottages. I think it was all new to everybody last year. So I didn't hear many complaints. I think the complaints that the planning department had received recently with regards to the flotation devices down there where the food establishments are is really around the safety and who should be regulating. So that's what kind of led us to where we are today. So again, I don't think there was any concerns with regards to the floating cottages at this time, but.
No, and I hope not. The reason I'm asking, I'm just wondering, since it never went through planning in the past, if someone wanted to complain, I'm not sure what regulatory body they would complain to. I'm not sure who was approving these in the past.
Well, that.
So now, apparently, it comes back into to city council because of these water lots that were before Confederation. So they're actually lots.
So, Councillor Bernard.
That's where I guess planning is to hold it now. So I'm just wondering, since this is not new, this has been a lot before, if there was any complaints, you feel they would have complained to the planning department?
Councillor Bernard, if there was complaints made in the past, then it would have triggered again what's happened now. So a lot of stuff that we get through planning is complaint driven. We can't ignore it. And again, like I said, this is new to council because again, no one knew who was to regulate what. So again, this is new to us. This is why planning staff are working.
Yeah, no, that's why I was asking. So just got spoke last year. Okay.
That's what we're proposing, just to get the season going, yes.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. Question? Okay.
I have one slight change.
Okay, do you wanna
Just
announce
under
that, sir?
Under the attachment, after number H, or as part of number H, about the copy of the insurance for the floating development that provides third-party liability coverage for operators, the owners of the water lot and the city of Charlottetown, and that the city be a named insured, Your Worship.
Is that all right to do, Alex?
Yes, sir.
You can add that to the motion? No probs.
What is that, what is that? Is that?
Just read that again from,
Mr. Feller?
I'm sorry?
What exactly does that mean?
That we are a named insured, on the policy.
Okay.
Okay, Worship, just a quick qualify.
clarification?
Well, I'm guessing, I guess, is this part and parcel of the legal opinion that we got? I mean, it's not something that we normally do.
Yes, it is.
With, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is consistent with others, then I'm good with
The
it. Okay.
CAO knows, right there, sir?
Not all timers.
Yeah, but this time you do. Question's been called. Counselor McLeod. Counselor Twill.
In favor.
Counselor Yankoff.
In favor.
Counselor Rivard.
In favor.
Counselor Duran.
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Cody.
In favor.
Counselor Bernard.
In favor?
Counselor McCabe. Counselor Duffy.
In favor?
And Counselor Ramsey.
In favor, Your Worship.
Thank you very much.
I forgot my last name again.
Well, I said Counselor Ramsey, but just quiet, just wanted to see if you were listening. You want to read the next one, sir?
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank
Moved
you.
by Councillor Rivard, second by Deputy Mayor Cody, that the request for a temporary use variance as pertains to the water lot PID 335364 in order to allow for locating 4 float homes to be used for short-term rental purposes be rejected. Notwithstanding, the board agreed that these float homes would be permitted to remain in the same location as last year under temporary use approval at Peaks Cay Marina at 5 Great George Street, PID 335307, until October 31st, 2020, Your Worship,
So we're rejecting it, but we're allowing to stay where it is.
at its current location.
Yeah.
Your Worship.
Counselor Rivard, can you
That's-
just explain that?
That's right. So the initial variance that we just approved allowed for those 4 floating cottages to be within the marina. The second variance that you just read off was to move those 4 now outside of the marina into the front of Confederation Landing, and again until we kind of go through the process of the regulatory framework and things of that nature. Again, we felt that from a planning staff and planning board that we shouldn't move forward with that. There is some concerns shared in letters from the port, and then during the conversation, actually, I did receive a text message from the applicant saying that they basically just said pull the application, but I didn't see
Can't do that.
I didn't see the text message, so we voted to reject.
We'll let you
so.
go. Let you go. Any questions? Counselor Bernard, Counselor Duran, Counselor Duffy, any questions?
No.
Good, good.
No.
Question? Question? Okay, question's called. Counselor McLeod, Counselor Twill,
In favor.
Counselor Yankoff,
In favor.
Counselor Rivard,
In favor.
Counselor Duran,
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Cody,
In favor.
Counselor Bernard,
Favor?
Counselor McCabe, Counselor Duffy,
Favor?
Counselor Ramsey,
In favor?
10-0. Okay. Want to read this third one, sir?
This Worship, moved by Councillor Rivard, second by Deputy Mayor Cody, that the request for a temporary use variance as pertains to water lot PID 335430 in order to allow for an eating and drinking establishment on floating docks, the same business operation as last year, be approved until October 31st, 2020, subject to the conditions attached. And Your Worship, I did add also to that, and that the city be named insured, Your Worship.
That's in the
this one.
addendum, yeah. Counselor Rivard?
I will add just a tiny. It's the same. It's just over the. It's the old Spinnakers, and I apologize to the owners of the new business. I forget the name of it, but it's where the old Spinnakers used to be down by the port. So again, it's to remain status quo and operate as they did last year. So.
Any questions? Question called. Okay. Councillor McLeod.
In favor.
Councillor Twill.
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff.
In favor.
Councillor Rivert.
In favor.
Councillor Duran.
In favor.
Deputy Premier Cody.
In favor.
Councillor Bernard.
In favor.
Councillor McCabe. Councillor Duffy.
In favor.
Councillor Ramsey.
In favor?
Okay. So now they can go right to business, Alex, with this? They can
Yeah, they have a few things to tidy up for us, but as soon as they can provide some documentation, they're ready to go.
Okay. Thank you. Do you want those right now, Mr.? There you are, sir. So the next item, parkades, do you want to speak to that, Councillor Bernard?
Sure.
Go ahead.
This item has to do with so we granted the free parking, for the last half of March, April, and May. So now that we're near the end of May, we're reviewing what to do. Finance committee met on this, and, we're making a recommendation that we move to allow no parking charges for the month of June to be, further evaluated towards the end of the month, until the end of June.
Okay, is there a resolution for that, Mr. Kelly, or do we need a
So,
resolution?
what I will add to that, just so it's council clear, so you recall, when we passed our operational budget, it was, scheduled to be passed, I think March 28th, we changed that date to April 2nd, we made some adjustments. You'll recall that we, took out of our estimates till the end of May, so there's been, our expectations, for the end of May, are pretty well up to date. So this, beginning in June now will somewhat impact the budget, but we're reviewing all the line items, and we'll come back to council with some updates.
We'll reevaluate at the end of June, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions for the councillor? All good? Okay, we're all right with it? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
A motion, Your Worship?
You want a motion for it?
By the direction.
Okay,
So basically, it's moved by Councillor Bernard, second by Councillor Rivard, that the city of Charlottetown forego parking meter and parkade charges for the month of June.
and charge and parking violations, correct?
No, Your Worship, if the cars are parked
Okay.
illegally, that must be dealt with
Okay.
accordingly, Your Worship.
So those,
It continues to be what we have now. This is
Yep.
put in the middle of March.
Good.
It will be the same for another month.
moved by, sir, who was it moved by?
Councillor Bernard and second by Councillor Rivard.
Okay, question? Okay, great. Councillor McLeod?
In favor.
Councillor Twill?
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff?
In favor.
Councillor Rivert?
In favor.
Councillor Duran?
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Cody?
In favor.
Councillor Bernard?
In favor.
Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Councillor Duffy?
In favor.
Councillor Kevin Ramsey?
In favor, Mayor Philip Brown.
10-0. Geez, a great night tonight. It's like a hockey game. Chicago against Boston.
No contest.
Do you have it written up there, sir?
Just the process. Now.
Okay.
Kane.
Stan Makita.
Hey, one of the best ever.
So the next item will be the police resolutions, and there are three, Mr. Kelly?
21.
Yes, Your Worship.
And these relate to patios and dilapidated buildings. Thank you, sir. You want to just read that one?
Your Worship, moved by Councillor Drawn, second by Councillor Ramsey, that the request to enter into a development encroachment agreement for the outdoor patio to be located in the two parallel parking spaces in front of Slaymaker and Nichols Castro House, 82 Fitzroy Street, PID 344135, be approved to the end of the 2021 season, subject to an annual permit application, and that the mayor and CEO are hereby authorized to execute the standard contract agreements to implement this resolution, Your Worship.
Okay. Any questions? Question? Question called? Okay. Councillor McLeod?
In favor.
Councillor Twill?
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff?
In favor.
Councillor Rivard?
In favor.
Councillor Duran?
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Cody?
In favor.
Councillor Bernard?
In favor?
Councillor McCabe. Councillor Duffy.
In favor.
Councillor Ramsey.
In favor.
10-0. Next one, sir.
Your worship, moved by Councillor Drawn, seconded by Councillor Ramsey, that the request to enter into a development encroachment agreement for an outdoor patio to be located in the 2 perpendicular parking spaces in front of Churchill Arms Pub and Restaurant at 75 Queen Street, PID 338004, be approved to the end of the 2021 season, subject to an annual permit application, and that the mayor and CEO are hereby authorized to execute the standard contract agreements to implement this resolution, Your Worship.
That's for Churchill Arms Pub. Question?
Questions called.
Okay. Councillor McLeod.
In favor.
Councillor Twill.
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff.
In favor.
Councillor Revert.
In favor.
Councillor Duran.
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Cody.
In favor.
Councillor Bernard.
Favor?
Councillor McCabe. Councillor Duffy.
In favor?
Councillor Ramsey.
In favor.
10-0. Next one, sir.
Your worship, moved by Councillor Drawn, seconded by Councillor Ramsey, that the public works manager be authorized to cut grass, remove any fallen trees and subsequent undergrowth that would lead to the existence of animal life, remove any other materials or debris, clean up garbage and properly dispose of same at the owner's expense on the property located at 298 Houston Street, PID 347047, in accordance with the terms of the dangerous hedges and unsightly bylaw of the city of Charlottetown, Your Worship.
298 Houston Street. Okay. Question? Okay.
I have a comment on
Good.
this just before I vote. Once, if this resolution does go by, I would wonder if it's something we could act on right away. Both Councillor McLeod and I have been working with the resident, and I was by there today, and the foundation looks like it's about to fall in any second, like it's really dangerous. So I don't know how we could prompt that to get to right away or not, but I know both of us are pretty concerned about it.
It's the property down between Cumberland and Edward. Is that the property? Max Headroom? Yeah, Max Headroom.
And once this is passed by council, Your Worship, then it does give us the permission to move ahead.
There's more than grass cutting down there. Okay. Question?
Questions called.
Councillor McLeod? Councillor Twill?
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff?
In favor.
Councillor Revert?
In favor.
Councillor Duran?
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Cody?
In favor.
Councillor Bernard?
Favor?
Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Councillor Duffy?
In favor?
Councillor Ramsey?
In favor.
Here you are, sir. Great resolutions, great. Yeah, there are. Okay, Sydney Street closure.
That was taken off the
That was
agenda?
taken out.
That's what I asked Mr. Kelly.
I thought Councillor
Councillor Duran said no.
Unanimous approval.
Yeah, that's, I was just wanting to clarify that. I asked him. Okay. Thank you. So we can go into the, I need a motion to move into closed session.
Still have one more, Worship.
Is that under the open,
Open?
Mr. Kelly? Okay. Do you have a copy of the resolution, sir? Can you read it off, please?
Your Worship, moved by Councillor Trio, seconded by Councillor Bernard, that the council approve the review and preliminary design of extending the Victoria Park roadway median the full length of Terry Fox Drive to Brighton Road, including possible extensions at Parkway Drive South. This project will occur through a combination of in-house and contracted services funded through existing budget accounts, and will identify logistic and interrelated components of the roadway infrastructure to develop a budgetary estimate of construction costs and a critical path potential construction activities.
Moved by Councillor Twill, second by Councillor Bernard. Any questions?
Peter, could you read that again, please?
Oh, go right ahead, sir.
Moved by Council Twill, second by Council Bernard, that council approve the review and preliminary design of extending the Victoria Park roadway median, the full length from Terry Fox Drive to Brighton Road, including possible extensions at Park Driveway South.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, no, I got it, it was just the first sentence, that's okay.
Okay. Any questions?
Questions called?
Question call? Okay. Councillor McLeod?
In favor.
Councillor Twill?
In favor.
Councillor Yankoff?
In favor.
Councillor Revert?
In favor.
Councillor Duran?
In favor?
Councillor Code? Deputy Mayor Cody? Good. Councillor Bernard?
Favor?
Councillor McCabe? Councillor Duffy?
In favor?
Councillor Ramsey?
In favor?
Thank you, council.
So, Mr. Kelly, where does this go back to?
We go back to the recreation workshop, and they were working with Paul Johnson and Public Works workshop.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and we can now ask for a
Thank you, Tracy.
resolution. We go into close, right?
Councillor
Okay,
Tracy.
we want a motion, there has to be a motion to move into a closed session.
We have another resolution, I think.
No, we only wanted.
Just want the one?
It was one for the.
Yeah, we just went with
As
the one.
per
There was two-
section.
There was two options,
Okay.
Lana.
119
We went with the one
subsection
that was more cost effective. and
1E, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 1E of the Municipal
vote.
Government Act, moved by Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor McCabe. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, close the doors.